Anyway, we're going to do a tower real quick, let it finish its little thing. And then we will head on into Act 2. Should be relatively easy. Because we are fairly well set up, despite being underleveled. I'm not terribly concerned about using Corpse Explosion here. Although, right here might be worthwhile. Tower will get us levels? Yeah, Tower will get us levels, and we will also get runes. Hopefully a Thull rune. That is the one rune that I am... the one rune to rule them all. I don't care much about Insight. It would be nice to have, but it's not entirely necessary. Watch it be right here. I should have just checked down before. Yeah, it's not there. Thank God. That would be my luck today. Short and sweet. Yeah, I think I've set it to private now so people won't get confused, but yeah. Sorry about that, RP. Bonk. This will show us about what it would be like if we had meditation. I'm going to kill these guys off real quick. Mainly because we can use the experience. And yeah, trap assassins are just so relaxing. That was some still motion stuff. Oh, it's stuttering. Says it's not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth stream. I am uploading above the rating that I normally would. Come on, game. Actually, it's come on YouTube. This is not the game's fault. This is actually not even my internet's fault. Like, as soon as I start streaming, it decides to cock up. It's smooth now? Okay. YouTube's still throwing warnings at me for some reason. But just YouTube being YouTube. Yep. Oh, I just hit like the 6666 upload speed. Oh, lordy. But yeah, the Diablo 1 stream last night, we actually hit 666 views right at the very end. Right after I posted it, someone started watching it another time. I'm like, cool. Oh, but yeah, we will beat Diablo 1. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a Diablo 1 stream tonight or not. It's kind of a 50-50 chance. Ow. But we will be beating it relatively quickly. Let's see, just double checking. I want mana potions. Because we can use a few more of them. Yeah, tell me if it starts buggering up again. I'll try to figure out what's going on with it. There will be, of course, a B-Real version of this over on the Let's Play Everything channel. Of course, I think something on my system is actually deciding it doesn't want to be playing nice. You know what? Tell you what. I'm gonna cancel something real quick. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube is freaking out on me. The rough start to the stream. This part will be cut in the final stream. In the final one on the Let's Play Everything channel. I do trim the ends off of those so we don't have all these awkward introductions. Although they still have awkwardness because that's just who the unholy hell I am. But yeah, as far as the mosaic thing, I did see the post about how their Dragon Claw is optimal for damage. The reason I don't do Dragon Claw is actually durability. It's not damage output. But because there's a lot of things that are just amazing that require a lot more upkeep than is necessarily enjoyable. For them, this is for Mosaic, for those of you wondering. Yes, Dragon Claw is higher damage. Like higher DPS, but you are using up durability very, very quickly. Let's go ahead and punch through them. Ouch. Okay. But are we going to get Thul on this one? Probably not. Even though it is a fairly decent chance that we get it. Because it is still fairly high in that curve. Because if you're wondering, Tal is like... If Tal is right here, you have everything down to L going that way, and then everything above Tal going that way. It's a bell curve around Talrune. So... It's pretty straightforward. Why are you fighting me, system? Cancel that. I will straight up end task on your ass. There we go. Sorry for getting cranky at my computer. You guys can't see what I was doing, because I actually have it capturing the game, because... Frankly, I don't want you guys seeing the shady stuff on my desktop. What shady stuff does Alzarath have? Nothing, really. Mosaic does so much damage it's not even important to optimize it. That is kind of true. I personally think that Mosaic Dragon Tail is kind of where I would like to see it. Maybe a little bit less. But it would be moving in the right direction. Sad reality is I don't really have anything shady on my desktop. I have the randomizer, I have Go Mule, I have various apps that I use, but I'm not a shady person. We all know the secrets on our desktop, on my desktop. Actually, you might, because I have shown my desktop in videos before. Now that I think about it. Oh, you're lightning enchanted. That's why you're taking forever. That, and I am just kind of chilling. There we go. Computer should be behaving now. It shouldn't have been actually causing any problems, though. It was a hard drive thing. I thought I could get away with running it while I was doing other things, but nope. We will identify that. It could be a skiller. Not. Let's see. GMM did a video where he demonstrated that you can purposely crash the game with Players 8 Mosaic spam. I have yet to be able to reproduce all the latency issues people have been having with Mosaic. I know it's strange, but I literally, like, herded a crap ton of cows into one little area, had it on Players 8 so they wouldn't die, like, first hit, and filled it with the nonsense. And I didn't even feel lag. So, I'm not entirely sure what the issue people are having is. That's another Am rune. I never thought I would be unhappy to see Am. So I'm not sure what's causing it for most people. Otherwise, I would try to reproduce it. But I can't even get my system to even struggle a little bit with it. And it's like, okay. Apparently, it's meteor spam against Uber Diablo since he's tanky enough on P8. Coffee rune word while watching out. Thanks, DV. Coffee is very important. Caffeine in general is. That's probably why you won't try to farm that build if you start Assassin this season. And yeah, I'm 100% acknowledging that it does happen to people. It is an issue. I've seen it on plenty of other streams. I just don't know what the difference between my system and theirs is, that it's just, it doesn't care. My system just keeps going. Like, okay. Yeah, but my screen was entirely filled with them. I mean, I could probably redo it after we get done with Act 2. I could hop into single player and mess around with it a little bit. I don't have it fully set up currently, but going southwest this time. I'm executive decision. You have to get your source online properly. I mean, Sorceress is always online. But I've never been... Well, I have been big on competitive stuff, but I've never really gotten a lot of fun out of pushing towards endgame gear just for the sake of getting more endgame gear, if that makes sense. I more prefer the puzzle of making the builds. Hey, we got an IO. We still don't even have a Shale, so we can't do the Shale IO rune words either. First time plus playing on ladder? Okay. Let's see. What kind of sorceress are you going for? What kind of setup do I want to... I think I will go... I think I'm going to keep going a bit more strength. We have plenty of life. So I think we're okay there. If you can have good drops from Pindle, like whenever you run through them using Fist of Heavens. You're thinking Frozen Orb? Generally speaking, whenever you don't have endgame gear, my preference personally... I know this is a thing, but my preference personally is actually to go with Hydra Orb. Blizzard is great for killing boss packs. For farming areas, it's kind of hit or miss. Yeah, telestomping is dangerous until you get your really, like, endgame stuff. Once you get your endgame stuff, freaking Nova is literally, you don't even have to think. Because with Nova, your Nova energy shield, by the way, is what I'm talking about. You literally just hold down the right button and you toggle between teleport and Nova. It is nothing. Okay, I'm not too concerned about those. Yeah, Hydra Orb is just so smooth now. It is a little bit fast compared to where I probably would have optimized it, but it is still in that sweet spot of not being like completely broken ass until you get really endgame stuff. You want to focus on Javazon and maybe Fist of Heavens? Yeah, those are both really good builds to kind of mess around with. I'm a little burned out on both of them, but because they've been good for quite a long time, it's just they are fun builds to play whenever you first get them kind of really up and running. There's a reason why outside of Necromancer, there isn't a single build that I consistently play on any character. I will mix it up because it just makes my life more enjoyable. Necromancer, though, just using all the bones and stuff is fun. Can I have that? Thank you. You can try to farm Pindle with Fist of Heavens Den and farm uniques. Yeah, Pindle goes down pretty damn quick to those. Wow, that guy's just taking his time to die. Pindle and CS farming. Chaos Sanctuary is great for farming. Generally, I do set up my builds to farm that. Just be careful not to get banned while doing Pindles. I generally do loops of areas whenever I'm farming. Even in single player, it's just habit to get into. Do loops of areas so you don't end up triggering any kind of like the ban like hammer stuff. Just don't let one or two runs. Okay, yeah. Don't get too close to them. Is basically what you're saying. 73 Fire Sunder, awesome. I need to actually farm legit Sunders in single player. I'm still using the imported ones that we used for just build guides. Yes, I imported Sunder Charms because they weren't available on single player. But now that they are, I can get some real ones so I can have some actual, like, proper numbers on them.
I need mana.
Go ahead and drop one over there for some free XP. Hey, we got a second try again. Sweet. And everything died.
Your decoy is dead.
I find it sad that we killed him without even seeing him. Okay, so we got... It's square. 9 mana? I mean, it is sadly better than what we're using, which is nothing. We were hoping for a Lightning Sunder. Lightning Sunder, Lightning Sunder would be good for this build. But that's because hopefully it's actually patched. I forget. I think square is right, but I could be wrong. I always forget. Because as I've said a million times, my memory is the pants. And frankly, clearing out here is going to be good XP, so I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to be throwing healing potions at Dingus here, so he doesn't get completely nuked by them. Yeah, it's patched online, but not offline. Which irritates me because I was more set up to do testing on the Trapsin, because that's the one that interested me. I already knew Mosaic was going to be a little bit broken whenever they released that 50% thing, but... Okay. That one's triangle. This one I think is circle. I could be wrong. Yeah, it's circle smile. But I need to get a Crescent Moon to test for sure. Because Crescent Moon technically should actually punch me up. And yeah, it's going to be north. Because this is going to be the corner one, which is the spirally stuff. But yeah, I always forget the layout of the tombs. I should just keep up a map, but... But... I already have... I have too many things on my screen as it is, unfortunately. Because right now, I have the game that's full screen. And I have OBS, I have Task Manager, I have Discord, and I have Preview. Yeah, Crescent Moon is not terribly hard to make, especially if you're not going for a melee Crescent Moon. If you're just going for just a Crescent Moon in general, it's really easy to make. Yeah, only the rune is terrible. Although we are having no luck with Thul runes either. So that is also a hindrance to our approach. We haven't even been able to make a spirit. We're getting very weird rune luck. But I will want a Crescent Moon for Hell difficulty. Hey, Mercenary, can you not... Okay, fine, just die. Yeah. Normally I get a decent number of them even before leaving normal. This is a bit more on the odd side. Okay, so you've nuked all them.
Not enough mana.
Where is the last revival guy? Or is he actually... He might actually be dead now. I was just kind of spamming it around trying to find him. Nah, he's up here. Those things are being revived still. I was like, I am getting revivals, but I don't know where they're coming from. But it's fine. I will survive. And there is our max lightning sentry. And now we can start investing in these. I might end up having to invest in Wake of Fire, but we'll end up probably just using Fire Blast. I should probably max Fire Blast next. Yeah, rune luck is absolutely bonkers. Can I please pick up that mana potion? I have clicked it how many times now? Thank you. I keep forgetting to even pop up Fade is the sad part. Because Fade puts us at really solid resists. It's such a hard time finding orts of all things. Oh, God. Yeah, that sucks. Although, orts would be kind of nice. Rawls would even be fine. I could craft them up. And yes, I am actually going for XP here. Because where we have beetles, we have decent XP. Hey, Veritas, how's it going? And also, Ort runes are kind of a weird thing because they're used for repairs, too. Get him!
I need mana.
Yeah, we don't need a insight or anything like that. We would 100% want a spirit first. We went without the lore. I haven't gotten a soul either, but that's a whole different discussion in both concerns of souls. Huh. Okay. Sorry. I honked at the microphone. I laughed. There's another Tal rune. We could start upgrading Tal runes. We're actually getting a decent number of those. Made a Crescent Moon War Axe. Cool. I'll probably do mine in the longsword we got, just because it's fine. For some reason, I am having real trouble picking up potions. Would I consider swapping to Martial Arts Assassin? If we get the runes for Mosaic, yeah, sure.
Not enough mana.
Now, Duriel is going to be a little bit of an annoyance. But yeah, Martial Arts Assassin is not bad. I mean, I could do a Dragon Tail Assassin. Not really ideal, because I'm not even using exceptional boots. But I could switch to it and be perfectly fine. Okay, time for the staff. Bonk. And do we need... Yeah, I'm gonna... Let's see, how... Oh, yeah, we'll go ahead and get the potions for it. And I think I disabled the thing that would spam about the Diablo 1 stuff. I want that only on when I'm doing Diablo 1. Okay, so inventory. Those. On drop on the... Lower res wand for kill speed. That is fairly nice. Do I have any interest in hustle armor? It's better than it was. About what I can say about it. But I don't see myself going out of my way for it. It's one of those things like, if I get the runes for it, absolutely I'll use it. But time to squash the big beetle, yup. Sad that we're literally using a large shield. And we're using Angelic of all things. Okay. So there's 3 for us. I will go like...
Thanks.
There's those. Okay. That'll sort itself out. Maybe a portal bug? Possibly. You made one for your Zon. You can honestly say you're not taking it off until you can farm Enigma. I mean, faster run walk is amazing. I generally just end up sticking with stealth all the way through hell. That tells you about my level of concern for gear. Okay, so we're going in. Mercenary will survive about half a second. Ow. Keep coming at me, bro. And he's about halfway down. We're doing good. I'm wasting some healing potions, but it's fine. I should probably wait until I'm about halfway. Because I don't want to be completely full. I want my healing potions to actually get their full effect. Because see, right there, that wasted some healing potions. Let's see. Leveling a Trapsin through, enjoying it. Yeah, those are pretty good. And yeah, the Cure Rune Word is nice. It's a nice change. If you're wanting to triple dip an Act 2 Mercenary, it's a great thing to do. That one was a 100% improvement. Oh, that's garbage. And we have officially killed off the bug. Hell difficulty 1 should be easier, but we'll see.
I shall track the prime evils to the ends of the world.
Okay. Do we bother resurrecting the mercenary? Probably not, because we don't have good gear for him. I just use him as a temporary meat shield. Don't know if Sunder Charm gets the effect on the trap. Yes, Sunder Charms actually work on traps even in single player. The bug is that for some reason they didn't bring the minus resist on like equipment like the Crescent Moon, Infinity, and stuff like that to single player. So they're going to be hopefully patching it before the end of the ladder. It literally just said we'll patch it at a later date, and it's like, please? I mean, you already have the multiplayer hotfix for it. Doesn't hurt to push out the patch to single player. Because if you push it out to multiplayer, it's already on like Nintendo and stuff like that. But I can, if it's server side only stuff, then maybe I can understand that. Yeah, they do need to just push it to single player, at least on PC. I mean, it's not like you're going to be playing with other people. That can just roll out whenever. Okay. So our gems, we could upgrade one of those. We'll keep them like this for now. Simply because we could still use them with gem shrines. Would fire or physical sunder be best on a full summon CE Necro? Depends on which one you're leaning more into. Generally, I would say physical. But because you're going to be using amp damage with it. So at least get some progress, more progress in that direction. It puts you 5%, puts you at 95%, and then you get the 1/5 on the amplified damage if memory serves. Actually, it might not be. No, it's not 1/5 on amplified damage. 1/5 on conviction and lower resist. Consider a new Helm rune word. I don't have the shale, unfortunately. I have the IO. I don't have the shale. I generally do run Sunders on. Go ahead and get this upgraded. Brawl. We don't have enough Orts to upgrade to a Thul yet. We don't even have enough Rawls, actually, now that I look at it. Okay. We'll get there eventually. Yeah, he destroys things perfectly fine with his own skills. And yes, we do have plenty of gold. I just have it spread out on other things. Off we go. Dark Wanderer, die. He's gonna spawn his little thingies. Come on, drop your worm. We will kill it. Poor little dude losing his worm to us. But yeah, Necromancer is just my favorite go-to. I do think there needs to be a Necromancer head rune word that has magic pierce on it, though. Honestly, my stance on the Sunder Charms is I still think they should be 75%. It basically... oh, he's immune to lightning. Hi. Fine, jerk. I'll go get my mercenary to beat you up. I'll get my big brother to beat you up. But my stance on Sunder Charms is they should drop it to 75% if you can't drop it to 75% yourself. That has been my stance for a while. Yeah, magic... No, not piercing like Guided Arrow used to. Pierce as in pierce to resist. Because Bone Spear already pierces, but in the other sense. Go ahead and just dump that in there. I forgot I didn't have enough to revive Dingus. But basically, it would allow the Bone Necro to not necessarily beat the Hammered In, but at least be competitive with that. Because you're investing 100 points into Bones. It's not like you're not investing a full-on crap ton of stuff just to get rid of that. Come on, Mercenary, come do your thing. Ow. Hey, Mercenary, do your thing. Don't just walk off. Dude punched you in the face. And I do think we are going to level up Grenade before we start moving in, because we're starting to get immunities and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it should be a Necro Head exclusive. That way you don't end up seeing it on Hammered-Ins. I do think that they should go through and do class-specific kind of bumps to the various classes so they can less popular builds. So a Necro Head that helps the Bone Necro in PVM. PvP balance is a whole other thing, unfortunately. Because yes, magic resist piercing on PvP with it is going to be broken. Rather ignore him. God. But yeah, we should be chill from here. We shouldn't encounter too many immunes. I kind of wish the immunes in Hell difficulty actually made sense. But they are fairly random. Mostly just to kind of jack with you. Well, there's a waypoint. Don't need it. Oh, before we start wandering off, I should check back wall, solid. Side wall, solid. Because that could have been like a path out. There's our Jade figurine. Sweet.
A jade statue.
Extra 20 life.
Do with it.
But yeah, Necromancer should get magic for the bone skills. Or they could introduce a mechanic to make hexes actually kind of interesting. Yes, I prefer that in unlimited stamina. Yeah, the Act 3 run is a whole ordeal. Hopefully we'll get lucky and not end up having to go through Marsh, but we might. No, it's not a unique. But I'll identify it nonetheless. Not great. Hey, Adam, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Magic Find Jewel. But yeah, for the assassin, we sort of got it with Mosaic this time. I would have gone with a martial arts change regardless, but I'm not sure Mosaic is the approach I would have taken. Oh, I am surprised they didn't act on it, but they were kind of going against there being 1-point wonders. So I was half expecting curses to actually get nerfed a while back. But the reason why you'd want to actually make curses be an interesting thing, such as, I think Project Diablo 2 actually did an interesting thing with it, where that you could actually turn curses into damage sources, albeit ineffective ones. But if you did that with curses on here, like you could stack up curses and have an item that deals X amount of damage per, or like whenever a curse expires or something like that. Or even set it up where a curse could stack. Would be interesting, but at the same time, it's kind of like that would be unbalanced if they could stack. But curses could be made more interesting, it's just they're not. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy my voice. But for, say, the Paladin, I would probably look at something to help out Vengeance, because that is really just a completely sadly ignored attribute, like skill. You could also do something with, say, on the Sorceress, you could do... Trying to think what Sorceress skills are ignored. Sadly, none of them are. Maybe something with Thunderstorm. For the Druid, obviously we got Metamorphosis to an extent. Yeah, there's no benefits to pointing more points into it. If you made it do a certain number of damage based on the level of the curse, you could have people dumping 20 points into a curse and going with, like, a Zealot Necro. You're going for the radius on it? I can understand that. That used to be a strategy back when Corpse Explosion was actually busted. And by actually busted, I mean scaled with player count. Used to think Ormus Armor was great vengeance here. I mean, it's not terrible for it, but it's not going to do anything for you. It speeds up your hammers in between hitting things with vengeance. 100% resist game crashing when using Mosaic. Yeah. I still think probably the best solution is just to...
I need mana.
I'm really not sure what the best solution is without walking it back. And I don't think we can convince them to walk it back. For clearing whole screens. I mean, most people do like clearing whole screens. There is a whole power fantasy, and we can't ignore the fun factor of the actual builds. One thing that actually kind of irritates me about some of the replies to that video already. Like, because there's people who are like, don't change it, don't remove it, without even actually watching the video to understand my approach to it. I generally don't do max amp damage, because I like having faster first kill. Because with plus skills, my radius is massive already. Now, for amp damage, if you're doing Fishymancer, I'm not amp damage, Corpse Explosion for Fishymancer, yes. You want the bigger explosion so you don't have to rely on the first kills, and we're in Great March right now. There's no guarantee this goes to our lovely place. We're gonna follow through with it. Because it could all actually just spawn entirely on its own on the other side. Or at the very end of whatchamacallit. I'm kind of like trying to go on the fly as to which one goes where, as far as the various class-specific changes would go. Barbarian could use some help. I just don't know exactly how I'd help him. That said, I kind of wish... Why am I getting trade chats? For this character, this is a trapper. So endgame, I would go Infinity.
I need mana.
Yeah, Act 3 is horrible on it. Yeah, mostly... And if you notice, like, people who are using this as, like, a new player's guide, watch down here. It's like, it's randomly flickering in trade. Yeah, I don't know why that's showing up. Gave your 2 cents on the video, made that comment on the forums 1 year ago. Every forum suggestion is almost the same. They don't listen to me, so fine. Lower cuirass for runes. Hey, this is one of the few times I get great March waypoint.
Not enough mana.
Yes, I'm cleaning my inventory. Yeah, I'll check out the comment on there. But generally speaking, I do think we should be going more for, like, getting some esoteric builds up and running with various rune words, various possibly new sets. I weirdly enough, I think Mosaic wouldn't be as rough around the edges if they would have put the effect on Gnat's Claws, oddly enough. Like, made that a green effect for the full set. I don't think it would have gotten nearly the amount of hate. It would still be overpowered as shit. But by putting it on the full Gnat set, you actually have a full equipment lockdown, and the set actually becomes useful. But then you also have people needing to get the full set, which would skyrocket the price of it. I'm surprised that the cost to get Mosaic isn't higher. Trogdor! Yes, Trogdor is amazing. And we're going to go ahead and bump up Fire Blast, at least to 18 base. That way we get our max death sentries out of it. Set rune words. I do think it'd be cool to have set rune words, but I don't know if the mechanics of the game can handle it without them doing, like, a major change, which is not something I think the devs that are left on it actually want to do. And there is a bit of a flaw whenever it comes to introducing specific mechanics, but at the same time, because generally if you're going to introduce a specific mechanic on a piece of gear, you might as well make it part of their skill set. But even still, it's kind of it's a weird thing to talk about in balance, because on one hand you don't want to make something overpowered easily accessible, but at the same time you don't want it to be so hard to get that it's inaccessible. Personally, I really liked the suggestion about getting it to be also part of skills. Like, I personally would put it on finishing moves. Kind of incentivize certain finishing moves over others. Say, have the claws only be able to stick at 25% each, and then have your skills, like if we come over here to the martial arts, have these have different percents they gain per level. So with less popular ones, or things like Dragonflight where it only does like one hit, you could get up to 100%, whereas if you were using a multi-hit one, it would be a bit less. That is probably one of the more balanced suggestions I've heard. We have got to be approaching Flayer. You like putting it specifically on just Dragonclaw? Hit or miss on that. Because as people have pointed out, Dragonclaw is the optimal DPS on it, but you still have to pay for repairs and crap. So it's not necessarily the best. I'll check it. Nope.
I need mana.
I was checking that for potential rune later. This should be Flayer jungle entrance. There's some people who were suggesting putting it on Claw Mastery. I mean, and also, if you made it lower percents, like if you kept Mosaic at 25%, if you rolled it back to it, then you could have a reason to put it on other pieces of gear.
I need mana.
And this is not the entrance, damn it. We are not doing good at finding our way through this. I have a feeling we had a skip. Talon for multi-kicks, Flight gets you teleport, Tail gets you explosion, Dragonclaw would use something special. Dragonclaw can hit multi-targets. Is its main thing. Kind of like double swing. Yep, like Zon Pierce and all the percent Pierce gear. I actually think there should be more percent Pierce gear, but that's my own thing. I also think there should be a poison Javazon javelin. I actually think there should be basically a Javazon's death web. Not as high a percent, obviously, like maybe 10%, maybe 15%, but or in just in that range. But I think it should be there. Does not need to be on a shield, otherwise that would be kind of broken. For the assassin, could have things that boost venom, because that's an underused skill. It's still very powerful, don't get me wrong. It's just not ever used as the main thing. And for a level 30 skill, that's kind of sad.
Yes.
Like Talon having to kick the same target. One fun thing about Talon, by the way, whenever you have the charges up with mosaics, is you'll actually keep kicking the dead enemy and still spawning all the effects. Plague Zone is fun. Plague Zone is great in normal. But... and I need that still on. But Plague Zone is not going to be something that a lot of people really use regularly. It's actually kind of nice to use whenever you're going through as a Javazon, to use it as your second element. Because it's relatively cheap and you can get decent damage out of it, but still. And poison is still fairly resisted. Just grabbing my extra 20 life. And it looks like we're going to be doing okay on this. And I got, for the 2-hour thing today, I do actually have to be kind of strict about it. But we still have over an hour left, so it's not exactly right away.
What do you need?
From the Asses of Kuile. Yeah, you can... oh, I forget which season it was. But we actually did a Plague Zone as a playthrough before I put those to unlisted. For using it in... let's go ahead and just go to Spider Forest. We'll check the other side. But as far as going through with the Plague Zone, I generally didn't have too much trouble with it. I found it about as hard as doing the Lightning Javazon. But that's because you pump it up, and you actually, back when I did it, it was... you would actually want to switch between the two types of poison. Because one was more DPS at higher levels. But you wanted the AoE for dealing with crowds. Get rid of all. You'd rather do Plague than Boazon? Well, I think Boa will fight you over that. I think he's at 92 now on his ladder run, which is awesome sauce. Doesn't put him at the very top. I have a feeling assassins are going to be reaching the top first. But still. Although, from what I can tell, it's actually kind of hard to get good games going unless you have a team, which really sucks buckets. But, yeah. Lightning Javazon generally runs into issues in Act 3 Hell, for those of you that are curious. See, you don't know how he does it, you swap to Javazon after... He runs past stuff. Basic speed running kind of thing. It's not a mystery how Llama does it, it's just, that's not a fun play style for me. I like killing the things. That's why I went back and got the mercenary to kill the little winged bastard at the very beginning. Is actually going their way through endgame gear. Yeah. Boa's going through endgame gear right now, too. He's got wind force and all that kind of jazz. But it's cool. I'm not terribly interested in being top of the ladder or anything like that. I'm more interested in just playing and having fun. That's always been my approach. But if I remember correctly, Ginger's been basically playing non-stop. I wouldn't be surprised if he's streaming right now. I haven't joined in on any of his streams, but... And also, if you have a team, it becomes less important to worry about immunities. Like, if I had a team on this character, I would have shifted into Lightning earlier, and I wouldn't be investing in the grenade. I will sometimes skip certain quests, like Bloodraven, I give zero shits about. I've only done her so far because technically underleveled. Like, this is the level you should be starting to get into. Nightmare difficulty with, like 42 is whenever you generally want to start, so you'd be in Act 1 right now. I think a lot of people underestimate just... Is this going to be a crossover area, or is this just dead end? This is probably just dead end. Nope. Yeah, it's dead end. Hey! Yes! Yippee-ki-yay. Now let's not screw it up. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Not a terrible one, not a great one either. Now we have +2 all skills.
Good day.
Very welcome. Moving that over, and let's go ahead and continue on. Finally got our Thol rune. Now we need to get all this stuff for frickin'... A spirit is a spirit, yep. Especially since we're not teleporting and we're not using Mind Blast, we just don't care. Nope, no skip. So we really do have to go through Great Marsh. No! I think we are going to have to. Did we miss a spot on top? I don't think we did. No, we didn't. Damn it. So that means... Let's go ahead and just scout ahead and see where we need to go to actually get there. So probably right there? If I had to guess? Although that doesn't look... I don't think it can spawn a path there. I mean, we'll check. I mean, I can put on full map. Or are you hiding? I always forget where it's at because I always just switch it and forget it. Auto map. There we go. Better view. Looks like crap whenever you're streaming it, though. Are mythical swords considered a good base? Mythic swords are really just a safe base. It's kind of like using broadsword for spirit. So I think the exit's going to be off of this. We're going to come down here and it's going to be off like that. But it could be there, so I'll check it. I don't think it can be there, but check it anyway. And then we'll come down this way and go through, because this is going to connect there. So we could have an exit right there. And I need to change that back. That drives me nuts. I don't mind it being top right. I don't mind it being anything, but I can't stand full screen. But yeah, mythic swords are generally what I do whenever I'm doing Plague. For those that are curious. I don't think it can actually spawn here. What are you fighting, mercenary? Good God. There's two reasons I don't think it could spawn here. Is because that, and because I think that's still part of this square. And also, usually it's off the bridge rather than off base there. Let's duck around here. Check on this. 99.99% sure, yeah, it's not. But yeah, by off bridge, I mean, if there was one that could spawn there, it would generally spawn right off the bridge right here. Found 3 open sockets, so you stash it just in case. Yeah, I get the ideal thing to do, if you're going for dual plague, is to find ethereal mythical swords. Superior if you can get them, but that's like... It's like finding ethereal superior berserker axes. Not exactly something you're going to be coming across every other day. Sure, you can trade for them, but... Trading? That's for chumps. Kidding. I know a lot of people love trading and that brings them through the game, but I abhor it. I actually do find it very frustrating. Yeah, this is going to be Flare. Said it even before we went in. And this is just going to be me walking 2 steps, dropping trap. Willing to accept suboptimal stuff on single player, can never know whenever you find something. Yeah, exactly. "100% beast mode." Maybe I should do a rune word video where I make up the recommended rune words for 2.7. I know people keep asking me to respond to Cooley's rune word ideas. I think he sometimes forgets the kiss rule, though. That's my generally only complaint with some of his stuff. Ow! I walked right into that. Let's see. Drinky drinky. More mana, of course. Any hoozle. Let's get the hell out of here very, very slowly. Because I don't have cannot be frozen. Nor is it super important for the build. Yeah, it helps your trap speed to not be chilled. There they go. Boom, boom. Now, as far as keeping the mercenary alive, I'm not super attached to him. Not high priority for me. And if I can drop these out far enough, you're going to hop over to D2, almost finished with Grim Dawn. Hey, yeah, Grim Dawn is a great game. I find it very hard to finish in one go, though. One of those, like, I'll get through, like, the main story and be exhausted on it. and then I'll do the expansions. You wouldn't mind them continuing to crank out rune words similar to how they've been doing now. I wouldn't mind them adding new rune words every single time. That is actually a good thing. I would like to see them do uniques and sets too, though. Because unique and set items need some love. They just can't compete. And they don't need to be, like, the best in slot for every single build. They just need to be good. Yeah, Grim Dawn is long. Most modern action RPGs have gotten longer. That's the one thing I hold against them. Because for me, the perfect amount of time for most games is 10 to 20 hours. It should be a good enough game to carry the gameplay longer than that if you enjoy it. But you should be able to get the experience within 20 hours. And a lot of games don't do that. This should be the waypoint. The problem with, and this is one reason why they forgot to put 1 in the patch notes, but the reason why they're doing it with the green buffs rather than actually bringing the sets up to snuff is because I don't think they want to have, say, 1 point whatever, well, actually it'd be 2 point whatever in D2R versions of sets, and then 2.8 versions. Because they don't want that duality. Because we actually had that in Lord of Destruction. We had 1.08 uniques, we had 1.09 uniques, and we had 1.1 uniques. And similar thing for the sets. You think Grim Dawn is 100 hours normal to ultimate? Yeah, that sounds about right. Because for me, normal is about 60 hours. But that's because I go everywhere. But the higher difficulties, once you've gone through, it's kind of like, why bother going everywhere in the higher difficulties? You are literally just leveling up. It's kind of like the Act 1 phenomenon in Diablo 2. Act 1 normal is going to be probably your longest act. Okay, we're looking for the bloody paths, but I will go... Oh, ouch. That tree. Stop me cold. We're also wanting XP. Because I wouldn't mind getting 50 by the end of this. And no, I keep forgetting these cannot be skillers yet. I think it's... Actually, no, Flare Jungle ones can be skillers. My brain is not serving me super well. Totally different animal. Classic Diablo 2, yeah. I always forget how small the stash is. That was something that just my brain decided to lock away. But the stash in Classic is way tiny. It's even smaller than it is in Lord of Destruction. Thankfully, this area shouldn't be too bad for us because we can scout ahead with the traps. Even back then, we all hated it. Well, I am a hoarder in games like this for a reason. So, yeah. A rune sword. Ethereal. But yeah, I should do a classic playthrough one of these days. I wish I could find my old collector's set. I have the DVD, I have the music thing. I can't seem to find my D&D stuff from it. And that is actually pissing me off. It might have gotten lost in a move, though. Yeah, coming from D1, you didn't even have a chest then. So got that. So that's our way down to the frickin' heart. Sorry, brain. Our heart's in the gutter. Our brain is in the freaking jungle. Where are you guys at? There you go. Taking your sweet ass time spawning there.
What a delicious blade. I should consult Ormus.
Maybe I should do a Gidbin run. Or the only weapon I use is Gidbins. You can only... I forget if you could carry a nightmare and a normal one. Because then we could do a Gidbin Barbarian. If not, we would just have to make like in single player, we'd have to make a cheated in fake Gidbin. And just never talk to Ormus. Oh, nope. That was bad. That was bad. Mercenary, why did you fail me? Why are you... No, you don't get to run away. Get back here. Get him? Yeah, we got him. Rest of these can just go rot in hell. There we go. Get rid of them. We should be fine. I think our exit is actually down and left. The Gidbin run. I mean, you can... Other than the staff and the flail, you can keep a hold of all of them. You could do, like, Gidbin hammer. Go axe mastery and upgrade them. Oh, lightning enchanted. Cute. Die, you fool. Are there any mana potions out here? Of course not. This is where dual elemental builds take the advantage. Yep. You always got to have the advantages. May start a Wind Druid. You never played it yet? They're pretty fun. There's different takes on the Wind Druid. Some people prefer the tornado-focused one. Others prefer the hurricane-focused one. Both are good. The tornado one, you have to remember that tornado's AoE does not have next hit delay, whereas the actual tornado itself does 3 to 7. But if we upgrade it, if I remember correctly, it turns into an axe. And then it turns into just upgraded the basic axes. Oh yeah, you are immune to lightning. Hi. Not immune to grenades to the hilt? Yeah, the damage is terrible on Gidbin. I need to double check that it's still a bug in this version, though. Oddly enough. Because I have not tested it. I haven't tested if it's still a thing. I just happen to have my old ones from Lord of Destruction. Because you might not be able to upgrade them now. Which would be all kinds of disappointment. Surprisingly not getting mana potions. Okay, so we are on level 2. We still have stairs to get. Go ahead and drop some traps out there to deal with them. Yeah, we can get ghosts and stuff in here. We can get fetishes. Fetishes are a royal pain in the ass. Fetishes are probably the most infuriating of the enemies. Them.
I need mana.
Just trying to take it easy through here because if I overextend, I'm going to regret life. And that's actually not a bad one if you were just kind of like a low-level smiter. Ghosts are great targets, though. Yeah, they're great targets, especially for us. The ones I'm worried about are fetishes. That's one reason why a lot of people don't ever farm... Oh, crap, I'm trying to remember the name of it. The Swampy Pit. There we go. That, and it's called Swampy Pit. Which makes you sound like you're going into some kind of weird post-exercise fetish thing. Ew. We'll drop one back here to deal with the stuff that decides to come harass us. This can only have one socket, and I don't know why I picked it up.
I am overburdened.
I know, it was gross. Deal with it. Crystal sword. Let's actually check. Nope, 2 socket. I mean, giving away 4 socket crystal swords would probably be a good thing for some, like, low-level players. Help people get started on their way to spirit time. Guys are so tough behind those grates. I don't think we're going to hit 50 by the end of Act 3. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. Let's see. What layout is this one? It's in the middle. Okay. Let's go ahead and nuke them here since we have the wall to our advantage. I think it's up and around. But yeah, the layout of this part of the dungeon is just irritating for most characters. We shouldn't run into anything too vicious, though. We've already taken care of Mr. Spicy Pants over here. That leads us in here. Where's Mr. Spicy Pants? He's down in his little alcove. We should... I'm looking for bubbles, because we could actually get, experience from those guys, too. They're not worth a ton. Tentacle monsters are not worth a lot of money. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be all the way around. I've seen that hentai before. Actually, I haven't, but... Can't say I've actually watched hentai. Like, willingly. Let's see, 5 there. And more grenades. We'll get this up to 18 base at the very least, so we actually have decent damage on it. Because it gets boosts from everything we put points into, except for Death Sentry. There's Spicy Boy. Are you kidding me? Of course he's dual immune. Why wouldn't he be? Am I gonna just sit there and punch him, probably? We'll see. No, we're not gonna sit there and punch Witch Doctor Ndugu. Why he spawned dual immune was just to fuck with me. My 2 elements! I don't even have Mind Blast to punch him down with. Because I've been saving my points for actual damage skills. That would be your 3rd element. I hate Mind Blast, though. It's a great skill, don't get me wrong. I hate it. I have a vengeance. Like a gut vengeance going on with it. Most fortunate, we've got Kalim's mind in our pocket. Okay, let's go give Gidbin Boy his pointy stick back. You've done well, noble hero. This magic ring does me no good. It's not gonna do me any good either. Life Leech and Fire Resist. Well, less mana. I think it's better than that one. Because the resist. Especially whenever we start getting into hell. Now if we had like a Ring of Bahamut or something like that, maybe. Yeah, it would be a better ring if we were like a Zealot or something like that. I would totally use Heartbeat then. Now we're on to the actual relatively quick part of this. Yeah, 27% fire resist is beefy. Fire and lightning are ones that I generally lean heavily into, just because those are the things that will usually kill you. Yep, attack rating. Very important if you're running a zealot. So I think we are good to go up to the northeast. It's one of those I will end up just throwing into a new player game, though. Sadly, there are not as many new players in this as there used to be. That's because it has lost trending status, and sadly, we are all slaves to the whims of Twitch. Twitch my ass. Sounds like an excuse to twerk. Ew. No, Alzrath does not twerk. But let's see. Just keep on chilling. Now, I forget if these guys are going to... I think the big guy in the middle of the pack is going to be lightning, but the other ones are not. As far as Treehead Woodfist, whatever his name is. The thick log of a man. He's a thick loggy boy. Very thick. Ew. I should probably stop making weird voices into the microphone. Because then I'll need 2 turntables. Okay. This is just like right over here. Kill off his friends. The puns, they hurt. Oh, he's not lightning immune. Okay. He is having some pathing trouble. Die, you fool. We got a second angelic saber. Are we going to make an angelic barb? Is that what we're going to do? There you go, buddy. No, we're not making angelic barb. I'm not even picking it up. He's an angel. I would need another part of angelic set anyway. Just to actually make it useful. Because you need 3 parts to get the attack rating bonus. We can do lower cuirass runs. Too bad we're only in Nightmare. Keep thinking we're further along than we are. Okay, is it going to be top or bottom is the question. We'll kill the champions. They're good XP. It's just 2? Oh yeah, it's just 2 for the attack rating. I'm thinking of Magic Find. Orc-Barian! Because you're not going to be killing a lot with a barbarian using dual angelics. Just as a rule, you'll get to like end of normal. He's an angel. Oh, what am I pulling that from? I think Boondock Saints is where my brain is going with that. I could be wrong though. It's been a while since I watched it. He's an angel investor. There we go. Speaking of angel investors, I keep getting spam emails from someone claiming to be Mr. Beast, wanting to invest in my channel. And I'm like, are you sure this is actually for me? Do I seem like someone Mr. Beast would even be remotely interested in? My audience is not even, like, remotely overlapping with his demographics. And I know the Mr. Beast formula. I would not be able to repeat it because I don't have the seed money. Yeah, that guy's lightning enchanted and a pain in the ass. There you go, buddy. Too bad this doesn't feed into Lightning Sentry, by the way. The only downside of going this route. Our Lightning Sentry feeds into it, but not the right one. We want the waypoint first anyway. It's bad whenever my brain is referencing something I can't remember what it's referencing. Our exit's going to be right there. So we know where that is. We just want the waypoint, and we want... Go. Now we can just find the tower. I think that's it over here in the top left. Oh, those are fanatics. Okay. I'll kill you. You are good XP. Okay, anything else we need to be worried about in here? I don't think so. We might get ambushed going in, though. This will just eat all these guys up. Another advantage of the Trapsin over other builds. The only other build that can kind of do this is the Hydra Source. And due to... It's not the frequency of fire immunes. It's just more like where they're positioned. It's not as useful for the Hydra Source. She's still good at doing it, but... Aw, nothing good. No!
I need mana.
What did I get hit by there? Oh, Battle Maid Serena still survived. Okay, she must have been, like, really in the corner. Yeah, she was way over here. Okay. There's 5 more stat points. Now we go sewers and then straight into Travancore. We should... Yeah, we should be able to get Mephisto today. I don't need more potions. In fact, we're a little potion engorged. Portion. Everyone hates Act 3. They've made it more annoying. But it's fine. And yes, we will probably... it's a 50-50 chance we'll be doing Diablo 1 tonight. Just later on after this. Probably around the same time as yesterday. Let's see. Kuras Bazaar... Yeah, we'll just go. We'll run it. Let's get sewers and then we'll run it. I'm not a huge fan. I think sewers are my least favorite of the bunch. And the reason why people die here a lot is because everyone's trying to teleport rush through it. Ask it, go away. Oh, yay, dolls. Yeah, I need to scout. Is what this spot is actually really good for. If it wasn't for these pillars right here, I could scout super easy. But I think that's intentional. Have a good one, Adam. Rest well. Through most of hell. Yeah, well, as a sorceress, if you're going mono elemental, yeah. For us, we're not exactly that bad off. Let those do their work down there, and we'll just keep skimming around the edge. Because unfortunately, in this area... We should actually be okay. Hopefully we get the stuff for frickin' Crescent Moon. Kind of sad that we don't, but we still have a ways to go before we can say we haven't gotten it. Hell difficulty starts to get annoying as the Trapsin. You don't have any way to deal with those immunes. Having a Crescent Moon would help us deal with the fire immune so we could shift a little bit more into fire. Reason why I say that is because Crescent Moon lowers the lightning resist, meaning we need less damage on the lightning skills so we can focus more on fire, if that makes sense. I know that's kind of a weird way to look at it, but whenever you're limited on resources, kind of have to think about things like that. Because that's basically a massive extra chunk of damage for no point investment. Yep, just got to get lucky with an drop. Actually, we need lucky with a few drops still. Because we are not even getting our low runes kind of squared away where we want. Come on, you guys. Where is the freaking... Wow. We are not doing good at finding it. That is not it down there, so I think we might skip that one. Although we still need to go this way. So we don't need to turn right, because I have a feeling this doesn't have a branch below it, does it? Stamina theft. Feels if you're going traps, going all in fire isn't worth it. Lightning is generally stronger. With the changes, though, fire is actually viable. I hope they bring it to single player so I can demonstrate it. Not, I'll have to figure out a way to mod the game, mod it into the game, unfortunately, which is probably not possible with D2R, sadly. You can do it with code changes in Lord of Destruction, but I don't think we can do it with mod changes in D2R. At least not with acceptable mods. This is not going to be it. There goes all our stamina. But yeah, immunities are the annoying thing. Houdini sin. Watch us get like a Vex instead of a or something like that. That would be about my luck on this run so far. We've gotten all the runes as well. Very strange. I would settle for even like one soul rune. Because that would square away our lightning resist by letting us do... Okay, so this is going to be the way down. Because we have Ice Hawk right there. Okay. Let's do this. I never want to come down here again. I hate this place. Healing, yes. Mana, yes. Nothing else. Should be good. Double check that there's not a spawn there. You can sometimes get a spawn over here. That's a unique, which honestly isn't a bad thing. The area level of this place is not terrible. Ah, he spawned down there. Cool. Hi, big old boy. All right. Come on, traps. There we go. And you drop the cure to your own disease. Sweet. So now it's just straight Travancore and then straight down. And we can definitely do that in half an hour. Unless I completely derp something up. Which is entirely possible. I have been known to pull the derps. That needs to go over. That can go in here. Where are you hiding? Generally, you do not drop down amethysts, by the way. I mean, you don't condense amethysts from flawless. Because those are generally the best ones to kind of keep around for dealing with, say, crafting. Do I bother with my mercenary? Probably not. Time to run. Since it was top left, we go bottom right. Can drop out a few traps just to deal with nonsense if we want to. But the way I know that it's bottom right is because it will always be catty corner to the way you came into this area. Just like this one will always be center because it's into the Travencal. Actually, it's into the sluice way. But same thing. It leads to the Travencal. Come on, die. Thank you. Why are you running away now, friend? It's not what you should be doing. It's fading into nothingness. I should try out one of those words on stream things later as well. 'Cause I saw Boa using it for a while. I haven't actually ever used it on any of my streams. I think you have to tell it to come to your chat to read things. And I think we will probably be 48 whenever we defeat a feaster. I'm gonna check this just in case. Nope. Okay.
I need mana.
Time to farm Pindle. Neelithak's Temple is a terror zone. Ah, cool. Yeah, I haven't been keeping track of what the rotation is on those. I suppose I should after we beat Hell difficult. By the way, these both are level 85 farming areas in Hell. They're kind of a nice thing to pick up after you've done Travencal runs to kind of interrupt the flow so you don't get banned. This is a heads up for those who are curious if you're not set up to do Chaos. I think ladder and SP are different rotations. Yeah, they are. They absolutely freaking are. But that's because in single player it's based on your computer's clock. Your time and date. It just shot me in the ass. Bastard. You bastard. I don't want those in there right now. I want to be able to quick craft. I find how violently we kick these sometimes to be kind of egregious. We are like full on Zelda yeeting here. Here, you kill that. Oh, they're catching on to my strategy. They're trying to use my own tricks against me. I should go get the waypoint. There's still a few up there. There we go. Let's flail. Go ahead and craft that bastard. 1, 2. Nice. Now we just have one more difficulty where we have to get all those bloody items. And yeah, once we kill them, these little idiots run away. Stat-wise, more strength. We're going to get up to 156. And more Fire Blast. Very brave not getting the waypoint first. It's nightmare difficulty. I'm not terribly concerned about it, sadly. If it was hell difficulty, I probably would have. I would have skirted around the left. What's really brave is not getting Durance waypoint. And there is a thin line between brave and stupid. Yes, you're going to hurt when you explode because you're a champion. I don't want to hug you. Let's see. Value of Snake is the greatest TZ because it doesn't have any monsters. Ah. Ha 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 ha. I hate Value of Snake because I have a personal vendetta against those fire towers. I always feel compelled to kill them, despite the fact that they are worthless to kill. They really are. They're just garbage to kill. They don't drop anything. You find the council to be harder than Meph? For some characters, yes. I agree. For other characters, like if you're doing a melee character, the council's actually not that bad. Mephisto becomes a nightmare though, because you can't really dodge his frozen orb of bullcrappery. Which, if you're going through solo self-found, actually hurts. Endgame gear, meh. Endgame gear, nothing hurts anybody. Except for maybe dolls. We don't play with dolls. It's not because I have something against playing with dolls. It's because I have something against freaking pain in the ass that they do to you when they die. Someone's going to take that out of context and be mad at me because I said something about not playing with dolls. I played with action figures as a kid. Those are basically dolls. Okay, let's actually go right. Just clear these out relatively easy mode. Paladins can do okay against them. You have to remember to use charge to move, though. That way you keep your max block up. Other than that, yeah, I don't really mess with dolls with any character. Only reason I'm going this way is to mix it up. Because we have been going clockwise for a while, so let's go counterclockwise. To be contrarian. But yeah, endgame gear, even dolls aren't terribly scary. Because you'll generally have max block if you're going for survivability in hardcore. The other most OP character can deal with them, exactly. Bone Necro generally isn't bothered by them to an extent either. I mean, you could say the same about Summoner, but Bone Necro has the Bone Armor, which it's physical damage, so that just soaks it. So even if you're amp damaged, it doesn't... Oh god, no, no, no. Bad bastards. Get away. Whereas us right now, we have literally, I think, yeah, 4% physical resistance. We're not exactly tanky boys. That, and yeah, on the mana potion. We're back to going clockwise, unfortunately, because the game decided it wanted us to go clockwise. Whenever 3 of them start charging towards me, that's just pain on a stick. Actually, is that 3 socket? Care if you're overburdened. It is 3 socket. We could make that into a malice for mercenary. He's not using absolute ass. He still is using absolute ass, but... I want to make a malice because I didn't get to make one earlier. L F. I'm using it as an excuse to make malice. Don't judge me. The spear he's using is probably better.
Now that
that.
Because he's using a cold spear. Actually, no, this is better. Now we have our doll defense, although he's going to die super quickly. It just happened to be 3-socket. I'm using it as a damn excuse. Surprised there's nothing through that door. But yeah, we want to grab the waypoint before we go down regardless. And frankly, until we get the mercenary some decent armor, he's going to be dying a lot. So if we get the stuff for an insight, we might end up making it in a bow. We'd have to get a bow with 4 sockets, though, which is a nightmare thing. Don't die, mercenary. I need you for dolls. And hopefully we won't get another doll spawn on Mephisto. That was very strange. Just like I hope we don't get another Leoric spawn in the middle of nowhere in Diablo 1. That scared the crap out of me. Because I always forget the spawning rules in Diablo 1. Especially since we went for the multiplayer. Is that a lightning immune? No, it's just out of the way. Don't stand in it, dumbass. He is a bit of a moron. just saying.
Not enough mana.
Okay, just load up that. But anyway, should be relatively easy to go run out. I'm trying not to... I'm trying to hold back on just trying to fill dead air by chatting. That is something that I have still ingrained on me because of frickin' shoutcasting. Supposed to be telling stories, not just blabbing. Pretty much what goes through my head. Which 90% of streaming is blab. And I do want to cover some other games on the channel, so I might be doing a quick look at some press keys I've gotten, because I've gotten press keys, it's just I haven't really had a chance to cover them. They send them to me extremely late, unfortunately, so I cover them late, but late 2008. Oh, wait, no, that's song lyrics. I'm just going to keep referencing random songs until I make everyone think that they have dived into my own madness. Dove into it, sorry. Proper past tense. I don't know what mercenary's thinking he's doing. Probably dying. There you go, mercenary. He comes and helps every now and then. He's not completely useless. He dies like crazy, but that's because I haven't given him proper armor. I think he has... Oh, no, he has positive resistances. He's not completely useless in that regard. He's going to be more important in hell difficulty, though. For holding stuff in place so we can go like that. Because that does have travel time. And this is going to be a weirdly laid out one. I think it's... Checking. Left turn if memory serves. From the waypoint. We want to go down. I always forget which one it is. Because there's several mix-up, like, ways it mixes it up in various areas. Hi, guys. This is why nobody farms Durance? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, people will farm Mephisto, but they don't like these dolls. I really just... Here. Hey, Mercenary leveled up. He is 46. He's actually keeping up, despite dying. Okay. I'm not gonna yell at him too much. Yeah, this is gonna be a weird layout one. If I had teleport, it would be a lot easier. Yeah, most people just teleport through here, ignore all the nonsense. You just basically, if you're teleporting and you don't know the layout stuff, you literally just go around the edge. Because it will always spawn on the edge. So that's the thing to remember. Let's go this way. There we are. Dolls kill you in melee, liches kill you from range, all while you get stun locked by the big guys. Generally the only ones that bother me are the dolls. At least the mages, these guys right here, they're always cold immune, and which is not an element I usually lean into super heavily. And they're generally... Go ahead and fill that up. Go and get one more healing. Yeah, we're good. But their fireballs and meteors aren't too bad. You see the meteors coming from a mile away, and the firewalls don't do a lot of damage per second. Whereas some of the other stuff... Oh, was that really all? Where is he spawned at? Because that was not the pack. There we go.
Not enough mana.
Yeah, I want them down. I think they might be lightning immune, but I'm not certain. I don't think so, actually. Ethrune. No, he's not lightning immune. He's just lightning enchanted, as always. Mercenary's probably going to die to him. They're holy freezing each other. That's cool. I'm fine with this. There we go. Grand Scepter. That's Siverb's. Pretty solid little scepter for starting out, by the way, because that plus max damage. But for what we're doing, it's not really useful. Which is unfortunate. Go ahead and take the Ethrune, and I'm going to go bottom left again. I prefer it. Did you really? You really did pull him. Fine, we'll go top right. And I need to soak this for Mercenary. Because these basically deal damage to him like he's in PvP. Which sucks. I'm just glad we didn't get dolls in here. Hey, we finally got a soul rune. We can get our lightning resist up in a bit. We still haven't gotten a shale, so we can't shale IO anything. Go full on lightning trap and just stay away from him until he dies? Nope. Ouch. Bye, Mercenary. Oh, no. Mercenary's going to lead him around here. Please don't. And now for the easy, cheesy, breezy Mephisto fight. Oh no, Mephisto can't do anything to me. Whatever will he do? I mean, we're not doing a ton of damage to him per hit, but it's fine. He's still gonna go down. Bye, Mephisto. It is so easy to cheese him.
You were no match for me. I can't.
Can't. Oh, yeah, because we have all that crap in there. Just wanting to identify it. Actually, that wouldn't be bad if we were Paladin. I would use it. It's decent resist, but frankly, we've got slightly about the same. This is like 20-something%. This is 40-something%. And yes, I will go open the back chest. Hey, garbage again. That always brings me bad luck. Bye. Yeet. How can I get away with... I'm going to try to get away with doing Izzy as well. Did I not... Yeah, I picked it up. Okay, so we need Ort and Soul. Oh yeah, we can't do it in that. You can't do stuff like that in your shared stashes. Ort and Soul. Yay, lore. That gives us our lightning resist. Not really that... I mean, this gives us a bunch of mana. This gives us lightning resist. So this will make us more durable, whereas this will make us a little bit happier for getting more stuff in that. Smooth brain. We might end up switching back to Peasant Crown, depending on how I'm feeling later on. But lore is definitely going to be higher priority in hell difficulty. Because I have a feeling that's going to be our best helmet. I don't think we're going to get a 2+2 circlet or anything like that just off the ground. Because we can't gamble for it. We're not high enough level. Unless we get lucky and get like a diadem or something like that on a gamble. Smartest primeval with a smooth brain. Yet he is like the older brother. Okay. And yes, I know these are not organized properly, but it's fun. Chances of us getting an rune is pretty slim, by the way. Just with my luck lately. Okay, get that going. Clear out the entrance a little bit. And we will try to get Izzy Wizzy Wuzzy today. Izzy McFuzz. I don't know if I'll be able to get the waypoint. Because we can go a little bit over, but I actually have to go within the next 30 minutes.
Not enough mana.
Oh, mana. That's one thing that this actually provides Peasant Crown, because it gives us 20 energy. If I remember correctly, Venom Lords do have... I think they have lightning resist. That or they just have a bunch of life. Thankfully, as far as like Doom Knights and stuff like that, it's just fire. Go. Grab you. Gonna need it for this. Wow, that was 2 bosses in one area? Nice. Don't think that can have... Can't have plus skills, I don't think. That is garbage. Okay, so let's go... Yeah, more strength. Get up to 156. More grenades. 4 more levels into grenades at least. We might actually max it out just for the damage. Right now, it's getting okay, but at the same time... We do need to get our lightning up as well by the time we get to hell. I may actually do a little bit of grinding after we beat Nightmare. Do some Nightmare Terror Zones.
I need mana.
No, you're not lightning immune. You're just holy shock. Oh, wow. Feral axes, by the way, really good crafting things if you're going for blood crafts. They work pretty good on druids and on barbarians. There's not really much reason to do Nightmare Terror zones, but it lets us keep the areas varied at least. But I'm going to try not to do grinding unless absolutely necessary. So we might end up doing it to get to level 60, give or take. We might have a grind stream. I know if I was going for like 99, I should just keep pushing and actually get on a team. Because what most people do is they just teleport past everything, which I absolutely hate doing, but that's how you're supposed to do it optimally. You don't want to waste your time on these low XP areas.
Not enough mana.
But it's easy mode. Yeah, you deal with them. We're going to have it right up there by the entrance on the top right. Just calling it now. I'm glad we're finally at the point where most of the drops are... Hey, it wasn't in the top right. It's just in the bottom right. Okay. Time to see what we have here. Ah, got him. He was like, traps decided to finally work for me. Let's see. Do we have gloams? Question. We have enemies at the top left. Check on them in a bit. I have a feeling we do have gloams. We've got venom. No, we don't have gloams. Sweet. I can be willy-nilly all I want. I've never been so happy to see freaking Venom Lords in my life. Multi-shot. Let's go ahead and fade. We actually have... Oh, we did have two... No, that wasn't a boss. That was just another dude. Yeah, we can be a lot more relaxed here. We don't have a lot of pains in the ass. That was a champion. Okay. Like, why was he a different color? But he wasn't shooting any other lightning or anything like that. This area is a pain in the ass in hell for this build, too. This is a heads up. So if you're going through with it, expect to struggle here in hell difficulty. Yeah, terror zones are pretty much just like normal areas, but they've got a red hue. It's not impressive. They're higher level. Circlet drop? Was there a circlet drop? I'll run back. Oh, I'll be damned. There was. Could be +1 skills. Nope. I don't think we can get diadems here. I think that's only in hell difficulty. If we do get them here, it's going to be pretty rare. Yeah, they're worth checking. They're absolutely worth checking, especially if you're doing solo self-found, because circlets can drop a bunch of amazing things. Yes, they're even worth checking for melee characters, because they can get enhanced damage on them. As one thing a lot of people don't realize about circlets. You can build... Actually, you can build a number of things to be not necessarily immune to dolls with damage reduction. You can make them relatively unfazed by them, but you usually end up sacrificing a lot of resists for it. What you do is you get your 50% damage reduction cap, and then you end up throwing in minus damage, like damage reduced by X stuff to kind of finish it off. it will work for the most part. But then you're prone to elements. Because to get enough of that, you need it on multiple slots. At least in Hell difficulty. In earlier difficulties, you can get away with one. They don't hurt as much in Nightmare as they do in higher difficulties. The Hell. But yeah, I am just looking for Iswal, and then we will go get the waypoint. And then that will be probably the stream after we get that done. There's a mana potion. I will be needing plenty of those for Izzy. Izzy is a jerk who's got a lot of life. Even online, he's got a lot. Now, killing these finger mages is good for getting your runes and stuff like that. So if you're needing runes, farm them. I should actually also be identifying the magic ring, by the way. Because those could be magic find rings for farming and stuff like that. There's Izzy. Save yourself. Yeah, I know. He's probably going to go down a little faster than in normal, but not much. He's worth the 2 skill points, though. Oh, that was a lag catch there. No. He's fine. He doesn't do much damage. He's just a pain in the ass. Hey, Izzy. Let's go find the waypoint, and then we'll go get our skill points.
Take flight.
Question is, where's the path? I think it's over here. Right there. Yep. Called it. Probably the tankiest character, by the way. If we're not going by, like, the immortal sorceress kind of approach, would be Amazons. You crank up your evasion skills, and then you go in on block. Because they're checked separately. You can become the super tank. And you can still throw damage reduction on top of that. Everything must die. Oh, I can't drop him across there. I keep forgetting. That counts as a wall. Very inconsistent of what counts as a wall and what doesn't. Yay! You just kind of teleported onto me there, buddy. He touched me. How did you touch me? And yes, like I was mentioning in Act 3, I think I forgot to finish my thought on it. You'll see me toggling between the skills down here. Because whenever we get something that needs to be corpse exploded, we want to have at least one of those up. Ow, 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 ow. That's why I shouldn't play on Europe. Okay, let's lead him back through here, get some more corpse explosion going. Bloop, bloop. Go, buddy. Okay, stats. Go grab that. And more of these. And our 2 skill points will go into that as well. So we'll be doing... We probably won't get to the 1,000 damage in it relatively soon, but we will eventually get to the 1,000 damage loveliness of Fire Blast, which is about where we want it, ideally, if not higher. Because that's the goal. And one of these days, I might actually end up doing a longer stream, just have my 15-minute breaks filled with something for you guys to do.
mana.
Not enough mana. We have got plenty in our pocket. But yeah. We might end up... I don't think we'll get 50 by the end of this stream. Because there's our waypoint. So at that note, I'm going to go ahead and call it a stream there. We're going to stick it with the 2-hour stream for now. So keep gaming, have fun, peace out. This has been Alzarath, and I will see you guys next time when we stream some more Diablo 2 tomorrow, as we have started the ladder late, and we just want to do it chill.